Okay, so your warm-up will start out in the walk, and you can do as much stuff as you want in the walk. Start out stretching down round, and then you can stretch down into free walk where he stretches out. And then you can pick him up in the walk and do every lateral move he knows in the walk. You can do your shoulder. Right now, just do shoulder in and leg yield. If you want, when I get there, I'll teach you how he does haunches in. But, and then you're going to start with your trot. I always start to the right so that I can unlock him on the right side of his pole first. So going right, it's gonna feel like a shoulder in on the circle. You're gonna start out on a big circle, shoulder in on the circle. Going right, you want his nose more to the inside, more inside flexion going right, not neck bend, just pole flexion. Going left, less inside flexion, like straighter going left. In the trot, the whole thing will be about, this is real important, the angle of your pelvis, okay? You don't want any version of this. And I mean, there are slider versions of that where even that is too dropped out to be able to make happen what you need to happen. You want, instead of your back hollow, you want this. It's just the angle of your pelvis. Like, let's say, like what Linda said. I like what Linda said, that if you've got headlights and they're pointing up a little bit, that's a good visual. I like that. And then these muscles go towards your belly button, yeah, and these muscles kind of lift. It works together. If these muscles go forward, these muscles naturally lift. You use this as leverage so it's more of a resistance in your core than it is a real like that with your muscles, okay? It's a resistance that when you go to, if you use the engagement of your lower back in conjunction with any other cue, it's going to amplify that cue. You use it with your rein cue, use it with your leg cue. So if you're supple on the right side of the pole, you're suppling with your right rein, you're using your right leg in unison with that, and every time you use these rein and leg cues, you have a resistance here, your core. I'm exaggerating because you're not going to see this from the ground. I'm exaggerating what you do, but it's something kind of like that, yeah. But it's more of a resistance and a using of a leverage than it is of a massive muscle thing. So in your trot, you'll start out on a big circle. If you're going right, shoulder in on the circle. Leg yield, when you get to the rail, go ahead and shoulder in. Everything's about supple and round stretch. You keep, if you're supple in your right rein, you keep your left rein steady in the connection. And supple and round. And when you're going right, if he comes above the bit, you're going to want to instantly make a pretty radical shoulder in. If you're already in a shoulder in, make the shoulder in steeper. Take him more sideways. Drive him forward more, supple more. Everything more if he comes above the bit. You don't want to give in that moment because you don't want to reward him for it. Be real cognizant of what you reward and what you don't reward. Yeah. The reward comes when he lifts and rounds his back and gives you that. It feels like 2 inches of stretch with a round neck. In that moment, you can give a reward. Yeah. Going left is a little bit different because he's more locked on the right side of his pole. Going left, if you're on a circle, you don't want much inside flexion. You can put his nose on the circle line, but no more than that. And you're suppling the right rein, which is now the outside rein, because you still have to address that right rein suppleness, and you'll use your right leg with it. I gave you 3 techniques for suppling going left. Going right is pretty simple. It's just like a shoulder in and suppling within a shoulder in. Going left, you can either put his nose on the circle line and just supple your outside rein and use your outside leg up by the girth in unison. Sometimes that works. It depends on what horse you have at that moment. Sometimes if you ride that way, it'll cause them to put their haunches in. If that happens, you need to go to a 2-part cue, which is using the left aids together and then using the right aids together. So if you were going to the left, if you're suppling your right rein, your left rein's connected. The first thing you would do is left leg back would say haunches go out, and then the next stride, the right leg comes up by the girth and helps with the right suppling rein. So left leg says haunches go out, and then right leg by the girth and supple the right rein. The third technique going left to supple him would be to do short, quick, left-right flexions of the pole. So you would supple, and in a moment when you feel like he softens, you give as a reward. You only give on the rein you suppled with. You always have an opposite supporting rein. The biggest thing to remember with that technique is that you don't want to take the right and give the left. That's sawing. That creates more tension. What you want to do is when you flex left, support with the right rein. When you flex right, support with the left rein. The alignment is real important. You're good about keeping your shoulders back, but you also want to keep your legs back. You want your shoulders back over your seat bones. You want your legs back under your seat bones. Because what a lot of people don't realize is that getting your legs out in front of you disengages your lower back just as much as leaning forward does. So, make sure, I think we talked about transitions, especially, I'll go ahead and go through the transitions too. When you're asking him to go from trot to canter, put him in a shoulder in on the circle first. Get him off your inside leg, even though you're still going to have to supple your right rein. But you've got to get him off your inside leg. And then when you ask for the canter, you're going to kind of tuck your seat, lean back, and ask, the way you know to do with your outside leg back and your inside leg forward. But the biggest part of the canter cue is to give him a nudge from your seat. Ask with your seat. As he rolls into the canter, you're going to flex him to the inside, but still supple the outside rein. That's for the left canter part. For the right one, same thing. You put him on a shoulder in first, and then you'll, like lean back, give him a push from your seat, and bend him inside as he steps into it. For the downward transitions, he knows the cue to turn your toes in, give a little squeeze with your knees, and supple with the reins. If he tries to stiffen his back and do like a pogo stop or something, just don't let him do it. Abort the mission, make him keep going, get him round and soft, and then try it again. One thing for you to remember when you do your downward transitions is before you do it, bring your legs back, make sure your heels are under your seat bones before you do it, because if your legs are out in front of you, your seat bones will bang us back and following. So before you do the downward, bring your legs back, and then you turn your toes in a little bit, and you turn your toes in, and you can give a little squeeze with your knees. It doesn't have to be hard, but the main thing is that you use your hands to supple with, not to pull. You don't pull with your hands in the downwards. And then you'll just ease down into the saddle softly. Yeah? I think that's